Hey everyone, it's Kristen back with another genius recipe. Today we are going to be making an incredibly simple, vibrant summer salad. It is Chef Reem Asil's take on a classic saltet fattoush, and we are going to be sharing lots of genius tricks from Reem along the way. This recipe comes from Reem's new cookbook, Arabiyya, and we're gonna start with the dressing. I love how simple and pantry friendly this dressing is for how complex it tastes. And we're gonna hear from Reem in a moment about all of that. But first we need to just start by crushing this garlic. So to get this to be a smooth dressing, you could use a blender, Reem says. You could also use a garlic press if that's what you have. I'm gonna show you the most low-tech way to get smooth garlic for the dressing, which is to start by smashing it. And then just mincing it up to start. And then, if we sprinkle a little salt on it, that's gonna draw out some of the moisture, help it break down fast, and then we can mash it to a paste right on the board with our knife. All right, that looks like a pretty smooth paste. And these are the other ingredients that go in. Just a little salt and pepper, some lemon juice, some olive oil. Okay, and then this is the key ingredient that makes the salad taste so complex for so few ingredients. Pomegranate molasses. Here's Reem to tell us a little bit more about this ingredient.
Pomegranate molasses, unknown to a lot of people, is an amazing ingredient that plays a supporting character for any other ingredients. It's a pop of tart that pairs really well with any vegetable, no matter what season you're in.
All right, now all we have to do is whisk this together. And it's totally fine to make this dressing ahead. Just make sure that right before serving, you give it another whisk because it'll probably separate. All right, so now we're just gonna prep the veg that's going into the salad. Starting off with a red onion. We're gonna cut into skinny little crescents. The first time that I made this salad, I actually made it for my husband / camera person's birthday, and we were going to a barbecue at someone else's house. And this salad was so perfect because I just prepped everything ahead of time and put it all in separate little containers, even the dressing, and then just assembled it at the last minute at the party. Everything held up perfectly. I just gave the radishes and the onions a little bit of water to sit in to keep them really fresh and crispy. Next up, radishes. If you do decide to prep the salad ahead and make it for a party, the one thing I would caution you is to make sure that nobody snags the crispy pita chips and start snacking on them, because that is another key ingredient in this salad. So while I finish slicing these radishes, here is Reem to tell us more about that.
So for like the average home cook, if you don't have stale pita, it's a perfect, I would argue even better than a crouton fix for your salad because it fits so evenly between all of your fresh vegetables. And I would say fattoush is also just a celebration of vegetables. It's about having perfect, uniform bites of everything so that you get sort of one mouthful of all these amazing vegetables broken up by this crunchy pita. It's really delicious.
Reem calls for a Persian cucumber, one of these cute little ones. If you can only find a larger one, some people might recommend that you seed them, kind of like use a spoon to scoop out the seeds in the middle. I didn't find that necessary when I did it because you're tossing the salad together at the last minute, so it doesn't have a chance for the seeds to kind of make the dressing watery. So I'm all for using the whole vegetable anytime you get the chance. Or fruit, I guess this is a fruit. Anyway, B-roll on cucumber. So in this recipe, Reem calls for cherry tomatoes cut in half, but also says that this base welcomes all kinds of seasonal variations. So while I finish having these tomatoes, here's Reem to tell you about a few of her favorites.
Traditionally, the fattoush salad is a tomato and cucumber mix as one of the primary components, but because we don't live in the Levant or the Mediterranean, that's not always available to us. So in the winter, I like to switch it up and put some citrus segments in there, a little bit of fried sunchokes for an extra layer of crunch because the citrus is not as crunchy. In the summer, we love to throw corn in there. Really, whatever is in season, as long as it has a flavor that goes really well with pomegranate or has a crunchy texture to it, throw it in there.
Ooh, I didn't push the button. Can you do that again?
Is that true?
No.
And then we just have some chopped up little gem lettuce. You could also use romaine. You are just looking for some crunch. So now we just have the crispy pita chips. In Reem's recipe, she says that you can use store-bought pita chips or you can fry your own. So I'm gonna add half of these pita chips now and drizzle in a 1/4 cup of this dressing. And while I start tossing it, here is Reem to tell us more about what you should look for if you want to fry your own pita.
So if you're gonna fry your own pita chips, I would strongly recommend having your oil be between 325 and 350. That's like a good medium. Make sure that if you have a thick bread, that you're cutting it down the middle. So it has, if it's too thick and it gets fried, it's gonna be hard to bite and it's gonna make your salad very bulky. So splitting it down the middle. It also has that fun texture of the inside of a pita when it fries. So it's super cool. And right after you fry them, I would say give them a nice little toss in a bowl with some salt and sumac if you have it. That's my little secret 1-2 punch.
So by the way, this you're doing right before serving. If you've taken the salad to go, this is when the magic is gonna happen at the party, when you've just tossed everything together and then assembling it on your platter. So it's gonna start with some arugula, which brings some nice like mustardy, peppery bite to balance out some of the sweeter ingredients in the salad. And then all of this beautiful tossed juicy goodness is going on top. And there's going to be just a few more important garnishes, so I will let Reem explain why she likes to layer it in this way.
Layering the fattoush is my little chefy trick. When we're doing big events at Reem's, we don't want the salad to wilt as we're bringing out the salad. We want it to absorb those flavors fast enough, but hold up its shape. So my trick is really to absorb some of the vinaigrette in the pita rusks first. So I like to put toss those in the bowl with the vinaigrette, and then get your main non-green pieces saturated in the vinaigrette, and then start with your layers of your greens, and then put your vegetables and your pita rusks, spread them all out, and then take the other half of your pita chips and ever so carefully layer them in between so you have that perfect mix. I love to put my herbs on the top, sprinkle those so you get that really beautiful herbaceous start to your bite, and it just looks really beautiful in contrast with the hopefully very colorful ingredients on top of your greens. Give it a good finish with a sprinkling of that vibrant red sumac, and finish it off with the rest of the vinaigrette.
So Reem's method of tucking some of these pita chips that don't have the dressing on them is such a brilliant way of getting all of the great textures of like some a little bit soggy, some very crunchy. And I've also seen other recipes where they just pass this at the table too. So lots of options for getting just the crunch that you want. Look at this. This is a thing of beauty. How could you not want to just dive in? Just like letting it wash over me. Wow. Reem's saltet fattoush is just so alive with flavors and textures from all of that layering that she's done. There is this incredibly vibrant dressing that's kind of sweet, kind of sour, very bright from that pomegranate molasses. It is a dressing that works perfectly here with all of these elements, but it also would totally work, as Reem says, year-round with whatever is in season near you. And it's very easy to keep those ingredients on hand year-round and super quick to whip up. I hope you make this recipe. I hope you pick up a copy of Reem's new book, Arabiyya. I hope that you tell us about your experience in the comments, how you've riffed on it seasonally, what you like to put in your salad fattoush. To hear so much more from Reem about this recipe and this book, be sure to check out the Genius Recipe Tapes anywhere you get your podcasts, and be sure to hit like and subscribe so that you get all of the Genius recipes. Thank you so much. We will see you soon.